Hi everyone. Welcome to the trend forecasting webinar. My name is Sabah and I'm the digital editor at Fashion Value Chain. So before we begin, let me introduce you to Fashion Value Chain a little. Fashion Value Chain is a global online platform that unites fashion enthusiasts and fraternities into one platform. This platform is for budding fashion entrepreneurs, freelancers, designers who want to follow their dreams in the fashion industry. In FVC, we cover fashion styling, blogging, modeling, photography, and we also help retailers, international and national brands to collaborate. For more detail and to connect with us, you can follow us on all of our social medias. We are available on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and on YouTube as well. Okay, so for today, for our very special um, webinar on trend forecasting, we have Mr. Amrish Shahi as our key speaker. Let me give you a little introduction about him. So, Mr. Amrish is actually a co founder and chief of design for yellowbags.com, which is a style and trend forecasting company. Mr. Amrish is also a NIFT graduate and he has an industrial experience of 20 plus years. He has an experience of leading the design team of brands like Lee Jeans, Wrangler Jeans, and Jockey. He is teaching trend forecasting to M design students. Also, he is interested in sustainable materials and is also working with startup companies in the same space. So, I would like Mr. Amrish to take over this webinar now.
Hi, designers and team members. Thanks a lot, Sabah. Am I
Most welcome,
audible,
sir.
Sabah?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Sure. So let's start. A very well spent evening. Thanks a lot for introduction. Um, Hello, everybody, and very good evening to all of you. So I assume that most of us are designers here, and if somebody is not a designer, maybe a creative person. So all of my points are here basically is talking about creativity. So let me just share my screen, and I'll take it from there. So welcome to the webinar of what we're trying to do is get a basic process of knowing what's next. Thanks a lot, Fashion Value Chain, Jigna ma'am, Sabah for facilitating this interaction. I really want to interact with the design community here so that I tell what I got basically in last 20 years, what I get to know from the industry, what I learned from the working with the different fashion forecasting agencies, Kala, Promostill, WGSN. So this is very personal account, guys. It's nothing that I want to share like a design process from a very personal point of view. So disclaimer here is webinar is purely for educational purpose. It's only to share my personal experiences here. And no way I'm trying to say is this replacement of forecasting processes followed by a trend agency. This process you can also use it on your own way to form your own forecasting as a process. um, I use it for my work basically. So I'm glad that I'm sharing it with you guys, and hopefully that it'll kind of help you out in some way. Please do not record this webinar. We can share the copy. You can mail it to me or to the Fashion Value Chain where you're already in touch with. So let's start this whole thing. Also, I want to give credit to a lot of websites from where I normally pick up my stuff. You will get more ideas when I um, talk about a particular theme or a particular research paper I got onto online, but all of these are the website which I refer to. This can also be shared with you very easily, so you can also make your own repository of websites. Sabah, you can also, if I'm not audible or if I'm going too fast or too slow, please also you can have a look and let me know that. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, we'll do that.
Sure, cool. To me, creativity, I completely agree with Brain Brown's statement that it's very personal, and somehow I share my soul with the world through my creativity, and it's valid for a lot of designers and all the creative people who are out there. Also, I completely agree with one WGSN statement when they talk about that if you don't know future, if you don't talk about future, if you don't think about the future, your life can really pass you by. But when you think about it, when you study it, when you plan it, and when actually you try to embrace it, you become a creator. So you can let the time pass by, don't do anything about it, otherwise you can do it reverse when you can really be creative. And how we do it, that's what my personal statement on these trend forecasting as a process which I follow. So what I normally try to do as a process is I try to build it up as a innovation and fashion for you. I'll also try to delve on how innovation works, what as a research methodology I try to follow, and then what I do with that as a process, what I do with images, and what to do with the keywords and images. I'll show you some examples. Also, one example maybe just to show you how it can work. And because I start to work on a very futuristic way of forecasting, I'll talk about a little bit of that. So, to me, what is innovation and creativity and how it is linked to the fashion trends? You can ask that question from me, and anybody will be asking that how innovation is related to fashion. Fashion is maybe something different, but no, yes, it's innovation is doing something disruptive. So, if you see all the innovative companies are doing something very, very different, so as to the fashion companies who are very different, they are disruptive. So, they also kind of matches with the innovation what the innovative companies are doing, be it in space of technology or design, product design, or fashion. So basically, what we mean by creativity industry. So industry is, you can say I am creative, personality is creative, but how industry can be creative? But yes, we can divide industry into certain domains, starting with the market leaders. So you can, on the axis of transformational into reactive into incremental, proactive, you can divide the whole industry into four segments. Before we want to work on any forecasting or any methodology, we need to understand how the basics are. So this segmentation will help us knowing what are the market leaders are. There are very few of market leaders because they are strategically placed themselves a market leader. There a lot of money goes into the research and being on the top of the game. So there are very few of them, but a good number of fast followers are there. But cautious adopters and fast followers are quite good. But laggards are also there. If I want to name it something like that, so these four names comes to me in the normally in these domain. Like Apple is the most creative company, sometimes most creative or second in the whole creative agencies, in the creative companies. Zara is really big for its fast follower. It's not innovating too much, but yeah, it's catching up fast. Mark Spencer's is cautious adopters. They wait for the trends to kind of go because they cater to a masses. And Lagard's is Walmart. They cater to a lot of big masses. So depending on where you cater to, so there is nothing bad or good about it. It's all about how you position yourself, basically, guys. So market leaders are the leaders who are innovative enough. Laggards are the people who want to cater to masses. So that's how the whole industry is divided. Similarly, the adopters, the people, the consumers are also divided into same manner. If you see very few numbers of innovators, people who really adopt the trends are very few. But early adopters
भाई
combined.
ये गेस करो कौन है?
Hello,
बिना नाम पढ़े गेस करो.
hello. Sorry. Similarly, the type of adopters are same. So if you combine together innovators and early adopters, they kind of gives you idea of around 15%. But the majority of the uh, early majority and the late majority of the people are coming in the fast followers, and the laggards are little still few. So the matching to the companies, there are adopters who are the same domain. So it's up to us that where we want to position ourselves. That's how the industry divided. Also, just give you an idea of the type of trends. Most of the creative people knows it. Fashion people already know it. So I'll go a little reverse. classic and macro trends are the trends who are shaping the whole industry or the world into a very macro manner. Means like sustainability is a big thing. It's there for 5 years or 10 years. It's a bigger trend. Within sustainability, if you're trying to do a like a pink color dye for 2-3 seasons, within that, so that particular trend will remain for maybe 1 season or 2 seasons. They are mostly called fashion trends. One fad come into my mind is I saw some years back is a gunshot jeans or a very particular earring. So they come and go within a couple of months. So those trends are called fads. So before we define all these the fashion as a element, we need to understand that what are the industry's main basis of these trends are. One interesting stuff I really want to show. There are many examples like this. So this particular study is taken from BBC style. So if you see, I just capture one trend. Let's say shoulder pads. How the movement of trend has happened from 1930s to 1960s to 80s to 200. You can track by the orange line. So that's guys. That's how the trend moves. And within 20 years, within 20 years, the 20 to 25 years, the trend try to come back because innovation happens and the people get really bored of the trend and they try to recycle it again. 30 shoulder pads were in and they were used by there just in there, but when the flower power or free movement was there, so they were not relevant at all. So that's how the fashion trend is kind of relevant or irrelevant by uh, maybe generation or a movement which is there during that era. So innovation comes when you try and think very differently. So I'm trying to relate fashion to the innovation because most innovative companies are also fashionable companies. So when you think differently, very different from others, this doesn't mean you think irrelevant, but you think differently in the sense you think out of the box. That's a one jargon which we use, that you try and think differently from all other things, all other people. So most of the more creative people are thinking logically, but quite different from others. They kind of sail their boat towards the other direction where the world they need to face a lot of resistance. But that's most important thing, guys, for a creativity and fashion forward people. They think differently. So before we start, I really want to show you or share with you a very interesting state of creativity report which Adobe does every year. I normally follow it for getting a gaze of that how creativity is mattering to at least the creative people. So they do it every year, and please, creative people should follow this. It's not only matters to only graphic designers or UX/UI designers, but all of us are kind of impacted by like geographical thing, political thing. So this report every year they talk about a very interesting in-depth analogy of how creative people are feeling. Talking specifically of 2020, where the year was pandemic driven. So if you see the key bullet points which are coming out of it, that 95%, 91% of the people think that they need to, creative people think that they need to relate some kind of ideology to the creative process. Please
Excuse us. Yeah,
mute
we request you all to please mute your mics.
Mr. Gauri Pathak. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So, you can see by the bubbles that the larger the bubble, the more important is the analysis here. Still, I just give you a gist of it. The whole report is here, guys, on this page. You can refer to it. All the links are given, but I can give you as a part of the a part of reporting. I just give you the gist of it, that just to build the context. So we still feel that the world has gone through a very negative phase, but creative people are really positive here. So how the positivity is also coming because of this situation is that we are trying to learn new things. We are trying to become more sustainable as a creative people. We are thinking this phase is a new normal for us, and that's how the world will be. It also taught us how to be resilient and shape us quickly. So as a creative person, we are becoming more self-reliant and more caring for the world. So that's what I wanted to share, and there are a lot of interesting stuff in the report. Please go through it because it will take a lot of time for me to come say all the points here. So when I start to work on the creative process or idea generation, I sit calm, guys. So the worst thing which I feel is for creativity or idea generation is running around. If you're doing a lot of stuff, uh, when you uh, when you try to think too much, when you're always on phone, you'll not be able to uh, do at least a fashion forecasting process where there a lot of creativity or innovation is required. So I do it for every project, or I do it at least once in a season where dedicate at least 7 days of the whole season, just to cut off from myself from a lot of activities around basic stuff I'll do. And I try to in my studio I try to make boards, and I sit mostly around and think about this process which I'm going to tell you. So the more calmer we are, we try to generate ideas for the season, and that's what is required for this creative process. The most important thing is nobody can teach you that how creative you are unless you become calmer and you have some process of generating ideas. Nobody can make you creative. You yourself can make yourself creative. So normally, initially, I get a lot of ideas. So it looks like this, guys. It looks like a jumble of ideas, and I really get confused with the ideas, even if I'm doing a project or if I'm doing for myself. So, and if I'm trying to solve any problem, a lot of jumbled stuff comes. But during the process, I try to evolve. I try to filter down stuff, and at the end of the phase of that process, I normally get a couple of big ideas, and then we test those ideas. So that's the whole creative process is very interesting. Don't worry about that. You get a lot of ideas. Please jot them down. Please put it them somewhere, and then we'll tell you that how to filter those ideas. So what I do a method of research. Majorly, this consists of two parts. Designers are half part is our like our half part of our brain is quite evolved because of our creativity. We are designers, so we think a lot about creative matters, and then the brain is like that. We are little bit. So can you please put
We can't hear you, Amrita.
actually everybody was muted, including me.
Oh, okay.
So okay, so I request everybody to keep their mic on mute, so that we can listen. Okay, so so I'm quite evolved in one side of the art side of the brain because I'm a creative thinker, but I force myself to do the science part of the brain also because this is important for doing validation, guys. So the art, what is art? Art is the side of research where you feel your gut feeling, what you observe, what your atmosphere is, when the music, the cinema, the visual appeal, aspirations, ideas. So that part, which it kind of evolves with senses, is art. But the science is also equally important because industry requires the validation of your ideas. So equally important that when you kind of talk about any idea, you also kind of gear towards that what are the actuals are, what is analysis of it, how much is going to sell, how much is the numbers of it. So number game is also important. Maybe you don't like it as a designer, but it's very important for you guys to understand this point also. We also talk about that in the research part, guys. So what to research now? So that is a major question. That is my list of research. I learned it from my interaction with like a Kala and WGSN. So I'm sharing it with you, and that's my list, and you can make your own list. So I normally talk about three major stuff. I For every project or for every season, I try and touch upon art and creatives, majorly music, movies, print, what's happening in the field of graphic design, media, bloggers, influencers, the creative people. I try to look at that. So I do it on a regular basis, but I try to in for that week of the creative week, I try to include everything and try to do very in-depth research on it. Socially, I try to see social changes, what is economy shifting towards, political movements, what the consumer behaviors are. Mostly all the forecasting agencies are very pro in this, and they have a very validated reports. but I still have my own ways to get these ideas of the consumers and social changes. I also follow a lot of lifestyle blogs where the new products and material has been shown. I try to touch base everything in the technology space also. What is happening in the change of habits? Uh, is there any happening thing around the retail changes? Google helps us a lot there, and they keep on giving us a lot of reports like that. But yeah, there is specific dedicated platform for this, so we'll talk about that now. So for the consumer lifestyle, the consumer behavior, what I try to do is very interesting stuff from McKinsey. I follow McKinsey for this, and every one now and then they try and do interesting reporting on what the state of fashion is basically. So because of the pandemic, they have done a very interesting report with the business of fashion. Most of you might have seen it. I kind of show it for the benefit people who don't know about it. So it's very interesting report. Uh, where they talk about what is the impact of the fashion and how it's going to change. This is very important, guys, for designers, where the how, because this is a very, it's a time where everything is going to change. It happens every 10 or 20 years where we get exposed to elements like this, which changes the whole industry drastically. So this industry is also changing very drastically. Global economy, consumer shifts because of that. What are the fashion systems are evolving? Less is more. How people are reacting. How the generation is also reacting. You will get a very thorough report on this. This should be a base of your economic scenario of the how you try to bring the trends in. Okay, so very important for all the designers to study this. Um, Otherwise, you will miss on a lot. You keep on doing stuff which you are trying to do. Maybe they are not relevant. So please go through it as a report before you start to work on as a creative process. Also, I kind of keep on tracking Boston Consulting Group. A lot of reporting they have done along for India specifically, along with RAI, Retail Association of India. And this report is also relevant for India, basically, specifically India. It talks about that how India can research and how it will become a global power, and it bounce back very quickly as compared to the other people because of its unique proposition, how the brands are going to be reacting, how the economy shift. If you're working on certain things, please go through this. Uh, if you're working on athleisure, there's a good, interesting report coming on athleisure here. Uh, Stuff which matters to us a lot. So everything is covered, especially for India in this. Um, WGSN is quite, famous for doing forecasting for consumer as well as forecasting, but they have a very good free section here. So here, maybe people who can't afford or you don't want to hire a WGSN, so you get interesting reports here. So consumer related reports, at least you get an idea that where the consumer sentiments are going. Are they feeling numb, or the time perception, what they're trying to do? You get a bigger picture. Also on the WGSN page, this is the insider page for WGSN. Updates from WGSN is all relevant for what is happening in the latest in the world of trend, materials, technology everywhere. So this is completely free, guys, and it also gives you a sense when you start to build your um, own forecasting. Yeah, Future Makers 2021. So very interesting stuff which WGSN also caters to give you free of cost. Apart from this, I follow BBC. I follow writers. That's my major chunk of stuff which I try to get on the consumers and how the sentiments are coming. Um, But most interesting stuff which I want to share with you, maybe some of you already know, but this is a new find to me also, the Google Trends. So people who knows Google Trend, please maybe you can put in the comments that what you liked about the Google Trends. But what I liked about it, you can divide the whole sentiment what people are searching for in the online world by global, India, any country. Very interestingly done, very analytical. What people are looking at as actors, or what highly searched things, what concerts they are going to, what are the kind of athletes they are looking at, music, movies, TV shows, everything is there, and the people they are kind of searching for. So it gives you an idea. It's a whole, like kind of a holistic view report, but you can go very in depth. You can explore topics, India wise, topic wise, very interesting stuff. So whenever I want to do like a sustainability as a sustainable cotton, I go here and try to try to talk to maybe spelling is mistake. So I try and do all these kind of things, and it gives me a good result out of it, where it's been trending and all that stuff. So very interesting tool for people who are trying to get the macro idea of the world. Next is movies and music. I normally go to the charting of Spotify charts, so I get an idea that who is trending right now. Not only the music, the trending music gives me idea of what is trending in the world of music, but it also gave me a fair idea of that what are the scene which are how the music is evolving basically. So it's graphic ideas and music, and what kind of mood and feel is there. Similarly, for the movies, I movies for alternative. Okay, it's asking. Okay, so like a Collider is a good platform, and Netflix is a good platform where I get all the trending movies for the season, what's happening right now. So that's a very good idea for me to I normally look at these blogs for my music. Let me close some of these files. I'm not getting. Sorry. Yeah. So alternate cinema, music. So what this is what I try to copy, and also the Google Apple TV. Apple TV is my go-to platform for my alternative movie scene. So so these are the kind of stuff which I before I start to work on movies and music trends, performing arts, theater, musician, cinema, whatever I want to listen to, I Google them. I try to search it. That's my list of music and movies. I keep on watching them. I get an idea that what is trending right now. It is 60s era is going, 70s era is going. What is trending there? If you heard of Bell Bottom, so that movie is right now coming from Akshay Kumar. It gives you an idea that that 60s, 70s trend is coming back also. That a lot of things like that inspired by the movies also. So on the innovation side, because designers are also innovating and they want to use innovation, that's my own list of the kind of innovative stuff designers are working on. So okay, so here if you see, William is collaborating with Supermask to get a very good mask, which is application driven also, but very stylish. So design boom gives me all that idea that what's going on in the field of technology, but in a very fashionable space. So also is like CNET. I go to CNET for getting an idea on what is happening in the field of technology. Technology, pure technologies also, but fabric. So let's say LensaTech or the carbon capturing is the new technology which is happening right now. If I keep on reading about technology, but when I get to know that Lululemon is using this technology to um, make their next line of the garments, it becomes very exciting for me, because I heard that Elon Musk wanted to remove carbon from the from atmosphere, and he's giving a good award somebody who is trying to get the best technology to him. So there's a lot of interest in industry of technology which you can also use in fashion. I'm also interested in that, and I keep on using CNET for that as a platform. Promostill is also very interesting. I want to show you this Promostill, because this is the completely free content, guys. Promostill normally charges a lot of stuff for their reports, but here you can get a lot of interesting ideas free of cost. Of course, it's you can just do a English version of it, and then you get what is happening in the latestly on the field of materials and trends and fabrics which are new happening in the specifically in the smart fabrics like that. So I whenever I'm doing research, I go on to Promostill textile division, and they give me a fair idea of this also. So other sources I use is BBC and normal blogs. So all these are, Rebecca Hunt is one blog which I kind of follow. Um, in the space of the blogs also, if I want to touch upon, I really like the FIT's blog, where they use they show from FIT's Fashion Institute of Technology, where they have their internal student blog, and that is very, very comprehensive. There's magazine from them. They kind of cover all the points. It's called Hue. They cover all the points from the world of students or study and design, and what's happening around in the field of design and fashion. It includes everything. You'll get on a top of an idea what's happening on the startups and culture and inspirations. So very interesting blog. I follow it also. Simply Suzette I follow, and I follow HAPA Bazaar. So I want to show you HAPA Bazaar also quickly. HAPA Bazaar gives you a very interesting ideas on who's the trending uh, labels and brands every season. So apart from the very big brands, we need to study who are the trending stuff and why they are famous for their inclusivity, sustainability, what they're doing differently in their space, how they are evolving. So these designers matters a lot in the world of fashion now, and these are the people who we need to watch on basically, guys. So I keep on working on these. I keep on looking at these evolving designers. They are very important for all of us as a fashion forecasters also. Art and architecture is quite important. It maybe you can say that we are from the fashion world, why it is important, but the backdrop on art and architecture is quite important. We already touched upon design boom. It has a very specific section on architecture, but I'll right now architecture and design. It's basically Indian website. It gives an idea of India for from the field of craftsmanship, art, and design. It gives you a very fair idea of how India as a design country is evolving, and interior matters to us a lot. And all the trending reports, you can see it from here. Specifically, how the different ideas of bohemianism, 60s, 70s, 80s are coming into field of interior and clean images. So if you are studying fashion, you need to study design as well as the backdrop of it also. So it's important for all of us to study arc and architecture both. Uh, Art is another field where Hyperbeast is kind of doing a lot of interesting stuff, reporting a lot of interesting stuff on the scene of hyper art. Right now, a lot of brands and startups I'm working with are kind of evolving as uh, taking inspiration from design plus art. So until unless you know what is happening in the field of art, um, whether it's cinema, performing art, or a visual art, you will this will give you a lot of inspiration. Basically, it's very inspiring, guys, to see a lot of interesting art exhibition which is happening, who is trending art scene, what are the color combination which are happening. So hype hyperbeast hype art is a very go-to place for getting all the international trends in this space. Promostill, as I told you already, but Promostill's LinkedIn page is quite evolved. Basically, if you see Promostill's LinkedIn page, um, it gives you a very good idea of how latest trends are going on right now. It's the website is very good, even though they're free. Some part is free, but please follow the LinkedIn page of Promostill. It gives you very good reporting here. So if you're doing something very specifically for a season or a catwalks, it gives you a very just idea on the LinkedIn page very clearly. Very nice page, one of the best pages of the LinkedIn, guys. I'm really interested in youth and street culture. So for street culture, most of you, it's very famous website, Hype Snobity. I follow that a lot. That's for all my um street action which is happening. It gives you an idea of what is happening mostly. They talk about designers. It's a very sneaker driven strategy. Streetwear is mostly about sneakers, but they gives you a very good idea of how the streetwear as a culture is evolving, specifically driven by sneakers. People who are very interested in sneakers and watches, accessories, it's a very go-to place. I do it, but it touch upon everything which is in space of streetwear. So it's a very comprehensive, High Snobit is a very comprehensive website where they give you a complete idea of how things are evolving. Streetwear, this strategy and have streetwear also have very good people, specifically people who are very interested in streetwear. Maybe refer to this um, report. It gives you an idea specifically only for the people who are uh, trying to do streetwear, interested in streetwear. Very interesting report. I deliberately put it here. People, India streetwear culture is very much rising. So if you're really looking at something as a reporting how it's evolving, want to see a global wise, so it's very interesting report. It goes into very depth, and Hyperbeast has done this reporting very well. So please go through it. I'm sharing it for the people who are interested in streetwear. For India, I normally go to a lot of blogs for doing research. For GQ, I go, it gives you an idea, as I told you, that streetwear is evolving in India. And when I want to do, I'm working with a streetwear brand. So let's say I want to work with streetwear Indian brand. So I normally Google it, but I get the best of ideas from GQ that what are the key coolest Indian streetwear brand who are evolving. So when I want to research, I go to Google, but I'm giving you that list which I really see as key stuff which is happening. So you can start to make your own list, but this you can start being referred to first. Most important part, because this part is directly related to us now as a fashion movement and designers, I kept it for last because we need to start working on fashion as a direction, fashion trend as a stuff. All other things are a background, like what I told you about music and culture and art. It kind of gives you an idea that where the world is moving. But when we start to work on fashion or design for us, apparel design for us as a designers, Promostill is one. Then Promostill already got exposed to. I'll already shown it to you. But ID Wise is one platform where I go to for a fashion related stuff. Very interesting, including streetwear and normal fashion both. Um, Another thing which I go to is Vogue, Vogue India and Vogue.com both. Uh, it gives you a very good idea. Actually, you can buy Vogue magazine also, subscribe to it, but their website is quite comprehensive, gives you a bang on ideas on stuff which is happening, which is relevant. Sustainability is happening also in India. This is an Indian website, so when I want to do want to listen to, want to talk about anything about sustainability, I normally go to Vogue and see what's happening in the world of sustainability as well. Very important factor, guys, is the influencers. Now, we need to study the influencers a lot right now, because these influencers who are fashion influencers, mostly the most leading pack is the fashion influencers. They are kind of gives you an idea that there are millions of followers of these guys. I go to Vogue and try to search. You can go to Instagram, but normally you don't get Instagram. Doesn't show you who is the leading influencer. They can you can see the trend there, but normally Vogues tell you or that who are the leading influencers of the Instagram or the influencers who are there per se. So these guys have millions and millions of followers. What is going to happen now in the world that they are going to be leaders of fashion, because when they personally dress up, when they're going to dress up, if there are a lot of followers like that, they will start to influence the fashion trend. So slowly it's becoming that these guys are somehow changing the fashion as a course. So so amazing to see how the fashion influencing is also impacting the fashion as a forecasting also. So how we do it? Now we got all this information. We know a little bit of about our world of fashion, art, media, bloggers, everybody. So whatever I told you as things. So what I do is I try to collect them into two manners. Okay. One manner is I try to get the pictures. So let's say I get pictures for every sentiment, everything. So not only I get a lot of articles, I try to get a gist of the pictures only through the pictures. So images. Images are most important for fashion designers. If you are doing a forecasting for any other media, that's fine. But in fashion field, the images are the most important thing. Because A is imagery. Without saying anything, they evolve some kind of feeling. they also kind of gives you color as a direction where it's going, mood and colors both as a direction. So remember guys, image is the most important thing in the fashion forecasting process. The second most important thing in the fashion forecasting process is the keyword. So every image evoke a feeling, and that feeling can be uh, done into a kind of a keyword or a word which you can emphasize. So I'll give you more examples about it. Then I try to put all these images, some all this. I try to make these boards, and I try to put images along with the keywords only. So all the research which goes, I try to make these boards for each of that version. For one for movies, one for denim, one for apparel, technology. I try to make all of these and try to put images and keywords like that. So if you understand, images are separate and keywords are separate, but try to combine it here. So once I start to work on it, I try to filter out the big ideas. So there is a process to filter out big ideas. I kind of refer to a very interesting vignette from IBM. What they do is it's basically a design thinking platform. You can, the link is also there. You can, if you want, you can refer to it. Uh, so what they do is they all these ideas we try to filter it for myself, let's say. So I will not do, if I'm a sustainable brand, I will never do a stuff which is chemically done, or a neon trend which is chemically done. I will filter it from my point of view first, and I try to put an image plus keyword to it. So for every image I try to put for my brand or for my collection, I try to put an image for every idea plus a keyword. So this is a very important process. After that, I try to kind of put a lot of imageries and a lot of keywords, guys. I try to put that. So for every trend, I try to put this. And then I combine them together just to make the bigger ideas. And the similar ideas I try to circle and put them together. Let's say natural dyes and sustainable fiber or bamboo is three different ideas, but they call one bigger capsule as sustainability. So I try to bundle them together. So that's how I do pictures plus big ideas. I try to combine them together into one uh, one or two big ideas. So that's how I try to combine ideas. So I want to show you how we utilize it in a brand called Tuzo. And this brand is famous for it's a startup brand. It is coming up brand. We are still working on the look and feel of the brand. But if you see, this is the brand attributes. It's a very artistically exotic brand. It's a kind of very democratic expression-led brand. It celebrates life. It's bold, quirky, and colorful. So when we start to work on this brand, what we kind of research is the kind of major lifestyle which is happening, what is happening in the space of uh, makeup and colors, what's happening in the field of media and technology. Filter it here. VR gaming and exercising, technology side of it, the shop spaces, how people are doing stuff, technology wise, what is happening, whatever stuff we find relevant for this brand Tuzo, we kind of filter it out. That's how it kind of keep on working. Sensory images, this is very good trend which is evolving. Sensory because of technology and words, and healing because of that. A lot of entertainment, the bloggers, what is happening in the field of Spotify, which is relevant to us, the music which is relevant to the brand, the cinema, the Korean pop, um, what is happening globally, we kind of capture for specific for this brand. Art and design, collaborations, still some fashion, digital art basically, and fashion stuff which is happening. So whatever we learned throughout, we kind of took it in a manner and filter for this brand Tuzo, only for this brand and fashion. So a lot of interesting stuff we kind of combine, and then that's how we start to work on the filtration of trend. So we put the ideas together, all of these ideas together, we make the boards and ideas together and put it in one board first. So that board, we kind of give them the keywords also. So the keywords, which is the brand, is also having self-expression and celebrations, natural and ethical, flora and fauna, and colorful, and all retro spirit and all that stuff. We kind of put it on this board as the theme board, and this is what we call it, a mood and color board. So if you see clearly, the colors also coming out of this research, we have done it very colorful, and the key colors are this. So this is the color board we're trying to put for the season. This color board will also give us the idea on the print and where the colors direction is going, and what the theme for us for this brand for SS22. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about, that how the fashion forecasting is can be done, and I've just given an example. But why we think is fashion, we sometimes think blindly that the forecasting is required, but why we actually need forecasting? Forecasting is it's a lengthy and tedious process. Is there any way we can also predict trends and save wastages, so because the whole cycle of fashion forecasting is there. The industry is divided into a couple of things, like first fabrics and the yarns and this, and later on you try to make prints, and then cut and stitch the garments and the sell the garments. The whole process around 2 years. So fashion forecasting predict the trend which is we're going to hit 2 years down the line. So that's how the fashion works. But things like the constant changing scenario sometimes is a miss and hit. It's a like kind of it's a little bit dicey right now in the current scenario. So a lot of people start to work on something like, can we have alternate way of reduce wastage? Because by the time the whole fashion process end and the forecasting predicted stuff, it's already 2 years, and maybe the it won't sell that way, the way we predicted 2 years back. So is there any other way we can do this forecasting? So there are some tech platforms which already start to work. So I come from a traditional industry, but we also face the same problem that a lot of our products are still lying in our warehouse, especially during the pandemic. So the tech was already there, especially the AI, artificial intelligence, and the machine learning. Both are coming to rescue. I just can name a couple of them. Like Stylomia is one of them, is which is deploy AI to give the demand and supply thing, which can gives you idea. You can study that more. Stylomia, Google it. It gives you a fair idea that how basically they're not doing fashion forecasting, but they're doing demand forecasting. They can say a particular fashion, how it's moving, how it's success, how much people are how particular one style is doing good or bad into the online space. So everything is driven online in this space. um, I give you one more example, like Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix, there are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of style like this, but Stitch Fix is the leader in this space, as for me. So they give you very personalized idea of stuff, which is just tailor made for you. So it seems that the whole thing is tailor made for you. Please Google it and know about it, how they work it. They deploy machine learning and artificial intelligence to get inside on your brain. They ask you specific questions, and once they get inside your brain, and they give you those ideas only which you will like, and they are kind of working very differently in this space. So that is how they're saying that instead of fashion forecasting for the whole of the generation, can we pinpoint people and do a forecasting or quick forecasting for these guys? So a lot of people are evolving and start to break this taboo of traditional forecasting. I'm not saying that is good or bad, but I'm trying to say this is also happening. As a designer, it's our job to keep on looking at this as a new it's not new trend, but yeah, it's evolving very fast because of the current scenario. Also is I also talked about this influencer stuff, which is evolving very clearly. I also work on this particular yellowbacks as a machine learning process, where we take influencers throughout the world which are leader in their domain. What we do out of it is basically we track their how they are doing how they are wearing through machine learning. Let's say we pick up one a particular influencer and how that influencer is kind of shaping the fashion, and we can go there, and from the whole marketplace on the of the Google, it kind of searches the whole thing and gives you a very good validated ideas for you. So through this we are trying to, in the due course of time, we we will like this thing, we can see that how many people are liking which style, and slowly we can be able to predict what styles are working and what styles are not working. This whole game is driven by influencers. So influencers as a thing is kind of shaping up very clearly, guys. This is the going to be the future of the world. This is what we can predict, so we are also working on it as a shape. So that's it from my side. This is what I want to tell you in a very quick, fast manner. Of course, there will be a lot of questions and stuff like that. You can shoot it to me. You can shoot it to Sabha or Jigna, and we can all help you out in shaping your brand or how you want us to help you. That's my contact. That's my coordinates, and that's it for today from my side.
All right. Um, so before we end this, is there any question anybody wants to ask right now? Anyone with any question? Okay, somebody has a question. We need to unmute them. Uh, who can unmute?
I try and unmute.
Yeah, so please.
Hi, Amrish. It was a very good session. Thank you for it. My name is Akshi. I wanted to ask you, as an individual, while we are performing trend and forecasting research, right from surfing the net and gathering information to kind of filtering it and coming to the second part of the process. How do you think we can keep our individual biases aside and then think more rationally towards how eventually the boards and the result might be?
Yeah. So hi, thanks a lot for this question. What I can share with you what I do. Okay. So
Yeah.
what I do is that two things I define very clearly for me. One is that my brand. So let's say I'm working for a particular brand. It's important for me to get the guidelines from the brand A, or otherwise I'm working. I already know the guidelines from the brand. So that's very important, guys. So before you work on the fashion forecasting, filtering of the trend, um, and when you start to work on it, very important that get the brand idea. So in the Tuzo brand, if you understand, I in the beginning of itself I told that it's a brand is very quirky, it's very bold, it's a technology front, guys. So and it will experiment with colors, so 5 6 10 points. So that I keep one side very clearly, and I keep on looking at it all the point. Even though I'm changing between the projects, I keep on looking at it all the time when I do my research. Secondly, I for a couple of days I free float myself. I don't restrict myself at all. But when the brand is there in my mind, it's already restrict me to a certain direction. As I told you as example, that if I'm working on a very bold and quirkier example, so I will try to filter out sustainability stuff on one side, which is really organic in its nature. I try to take sustainability, which is more, saying that I'll save more dyes or more azo-free dyes and stuff like that. So once my guiding principles are there, please look at it for all the point of view, for all the filtration. So this is one point. Second point which I do is always take care of cut the cluttering in my this thing is that I try to make different boards, 5 boards, and I try to stick the boards into a very, let's say, 2 feet by 3 feet manner, so that a lot of stuff can't come into it. Also, I use very small post-it, so that I don't write more than 4 or 5 words onto my post-it as a keyword. So by selecting this, I restrict myself not to write lot of stuff onto write do not write lot of stuff, and do not post lot of stuff. I filter all the stuff to the very relevant key points only. So if we don't do it, guys, if we keep on floating. So I think I suggest that you devote at least 5 to 7 days to this exercise whenever you're doing a research project like this. Initial 2 days, uh, gather all the information, but before getting into everything, read through the branding principle. Very much important that brand principles are there with you throughout. So that's what I do. Two things, but I know we still face problem. But if you do try and do practice these two things, you start to get it there. I hope I have answered some part of your question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Amrish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so there are some people who are asking that will we get the recording of this webinar? Yes, but you have to request it to us on our Gmail. So I'm just sharing our Gmail address, that is fashionvaluechain@gmail.com. Please send in your request for the recording of the webinar. We'll forward it to you over there. Okay. Next question is actually from someone. The question is, all the websites that Amrish sir has explained, are all these websites available only on LinkedIn?
No, no, no.
No,
So
they are not.
they are all there. So if you see the credits, the in the first page of the credit, all the websites are listed there. So they're very different websites. So that's what I said. That's my repository, and I'm sharing it with you guys. But once you go through it, you might not be from the same field. You might be working on Indian ethnics, but at least this gives in a really good idea of. I come from a very casual Indian space, so casual Western space. So, but at least my the basic route of the starting to work on the process is clear. So at least you start building it from there. But of course, if you're working in your own domain, this gives you a good idea to start working for you.
Okay, Jigna ma'am just updated that this video will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, that is Fashion Value Chain. So you can check it out there as well. Okay, so anybody else has any question? You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Fashion Value Chain. Anybody else has any question? You can come up now.
Ragini has some question. Ragini have to unmute.
Okay. There's a question. Any tip for students who wants to start their own business?
Yeah, so why not? So basically, students who wants to start their own business, the most interesting tip I got in the recent time is start. So please start, because in the global scenario, only designers are waiting for things to happen. I've seen technology people. I'm working with a lot of technocrats right now. So I come from design space. I waited couple of years to start my own stuff, many years, but I see a lot of youngsters are starting. So please don't wait, because two reasons I have it. One reason is very clearly that you are the most creative people at this place in this age also. The ideas you get it right now is very different from the ideas a mature person will have it. So you have good solutions, good ideas. Please start off if you can start. Secondly, you have less liabilities, guys. So if you have less liabilities, that means when you a little bit mature up, go into your life, you will not be able to start because of ABC reasons, and you will find a lot of excuses not to start. So best thing is start now.
Okay. So Ragini is asking, can we visit your company? Where is it?
So you can visit my company is online actually. So it's a tech company. It's called yellowbacks.com. You can also write it here. So it's called
Right.
www.yellowbacks.com. So it's a tech platform completely, guys. It's a free of cost for all of us. You can search trends. We're working on the technology. Yeah,
I'll just write it.
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So anybody else has any question? If in case your mic is not working or you have any problem, just write your question in the chat. Anybody? Okay, so I think now we can okay, there's a chat. Oh, there is a question. Any fashion magazine suggestions?
So, right now everything is going online. I refer to a lot of magazines which I've given you already. So Vogue is my favorite, even though it's very, people can call it cliche, but I still love it for its content. HAPA Bazaar I refer to a lot. I also work a lot in streetwear space. So Hyper Beast is one of the fashion magazine I follow very, very closely. Um, and High Snobity. So four things which I love every time I refer to is this. Also, I follow very closely as a designer is McKinsey. It shapes my ideas of a creative world into a very rational manner. So yeah, these are the 4-5 stuff which is personally very close to me.
Okay.
Two more questions.
Next question is, how do you decide your costing to the clients?
My cost?
Yeah, when you work for a client, for a brand, so how do you cost them? Somebody's asking that.
Okay, so basically, it depends a lot on what is the result, what you wanted. So it's never a simple thing. We can't give you a very, very basic ballpoint figure. If you say it, it, it depends on that. If you want just a small project to a very big project, so the answers can't be given like this. To be honest, it needs to be, seen that what is the result we wanted. So I want to be diplomatic here because I can't give you a ballpoint figure like this.
Also,
I'm
guys,
sorry.
if you're interested to learn these specific pointers, we are also coming up with a workshop with Amrish sir very soon. So please stay tuned for that, and you all can just learn most of these things during that workshop. So yeah, if you're interested to be a part of that workshop, please send us an email on Fashion Value Chain that you're interested. We'll send you all the details regarding that through that mail. Okay, so I think now we can officially end this.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Amrish sir, for this amazing webinar and your precious time. It was really, such a great learning experience for all of us. Definitely the pointers that you have, pointed on, we are actually not very much aware about it. It was so much of the new learning for us, and hopefully it will be very helpful for all of us in our coming futures. And as I mentioned before, anyone is interested to learn further, you can come up come to our workshop that we'll be hosting later on. So thank you so much, Amrish sir, for your time, and thank you so much everyone for being a part of this.
Thank
So
you. Thanks a lot, Sabha. Thanks a lot, Jigna ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot to
most
design community, be
welcome.
a part of it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you,
Most
Mr.
welcome.
Amrish. It was really valuable insights that you had given today. So we look forward to work together in future also.
Sure,
So
sure,
thank
Jigna
you.
ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yes,
And special
thank you so much.
thanks to Mr. Manohar Samuel, who has joined today.
Oh,
And
he was here?
yeah, he's
Awesome.
here. So I really thank to him and thanks for.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amrish sir. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you in our next webinar, hopefully very soon. So yeah, all of you take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.